All right, so we've talked about multiplication using algebra blocks, and we've also talked about factoring. Now let's finish up with that family of operations and finish off with division. So first of all, let's go back a little bit and summarize what we've learned about multiplication and factoring. So if you remember, we said AB is the area, we're using the area model, where AB is the area of a rectangle with the dimensions A and B. Now, if you remember from 112, we had also written this as a fact family triangle. So A, B, and AB. Well, it didn't quite look like that. What it looked like was we used factor 1, factor 2, and product in our fact family triangle. And we said that this could be factor 1, factor 2, and product. Now in Algeblocks, this is dimension 1, this is dimension 2, and this is the area. And the way we've been highlighting so far has been dimension 1, dimension 2, and area. So if you remember from 112, there were a couple of things that a couple of number sentences that we could write from this fact family triangle. So we said factor 1 times factor 2 equals the product, or with a commutative property, we could rewrite it in the other order. But we could also write division statements, factor 1. So if product divided by factor 1, then we have factor 2, and if product is divided by factor 2, we will get factor 1. So notice that we have two statements that are multiplication statements, but with the same fact family, we have two statements that are division statement. And if you look at the division statements, what we actually have is a product divided by one of the factors. And what the result is is the other factor. So in division, if we're looking at division problems here like this, then our product is 8k, and one of our factors, it doesn't matter which one, is going to be 2k. So let's see what would happen if our product is 8k and we want to divide by 2k. So one of the factors we want to be 2k, and then what we're looking for is the other factor. So let's go up to our Algeblocks and see how that would look like. So 8k divided by 2k. So we would have 8k, and I'm just going to use, starting well. 8k, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that's our factor. That's our area. And we want to divide by 2k. So one of our factors needs to be 2k. So notice that what we have is that we have to draw the area in terms of as a rectangle, but one of the dimensions has to be this, maximum this. It cannot extend anywhere past that, because that has to be one of the dimensions. And the bottom is the same kind of boundary. So if this is our dimension, then we somehow need to pack in our rectangles, our 8Ks, into this particular space. So it seems to me that if I start looking at my rectangles this way, it might be hard to put them into a rectangle like this. Wouldn't it be nicer if we could rotate the rectangles to be vertical? So let me, Let me see if I can maybe cut. I'm going to delete these guys, and I'm going to say that the better way for me to set up this rectangle is to use the vertical 2Ks. So I need 8K. So there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. So there we go. We have 8K in a rectangle with one of the dimensions being 2K. And our question is, what is that other dimension? Well, we can draw that in. Let's go back and draw this situation on our mat. So we have in pink, we had 8Ks lined up like this. Right, and that was our product. This is our product, that's our rectangle. And we said that we knew that our vertical factor is going to be 2K. And we needed to figure out what our horizontal factor is going to be. Well, we can see that in order to make things line up, that horizontal factor is going to have to be 4. So you see that this is the product, or the area. This is one of the factors. Let's say vertical for this one. And this is the other factor, horizontal. So if we said 2K times 4, we would get 8K, and that would be a way to check. So let's try number B. We have r squared minus 6r divided by r. So we have a product divided by one of the factors. So this is our factor. Our product is r squared plus 6r. Let's go see if we can set it up in a rectangle. And we know that the factor is going to be r. One of the factors is going to be r. So we're going to have to be putting all of them in here into that space. In fact, I think we can do that without even going to the Algeblocks. Well, if we need to fit everything in here, then the r squared would have to fit like this, and we'd have to fit 6 r's. 3, 4, 5, 6, like that as well. There's really no choice in how we're going to fit this in. So that's the product. This is our product in a rectangle. So what would this factor be? Well, it's r, and then 6. So that product, that factor that is the horizontal factor, which is what we were looking for, is going to be r plus 6. Now we can check our work. We can say is r times r plus 6, r squared, oh, I'm sorry, it's not plus 6, it's minus 6. Ooh, okay, I'm going to cheat. So plus 6, and we'll do a minus 6 with on a different page. So let's say that this is r plus 6, r squared plus 6r divided by r. Let's go back to the Algeblocks and do minus 6r. So let's do r squared minus 6r divided by r. So we have r squared and minus 6r somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so that's our product. And we know that our factor is going to be there. It's going to be r. So if we are to have to fit our rectangle all within that dimension, then we're going to have to move some of these blocks. Oops. So that will have to fit, the r squared will have to fit there. And then all the r's would have to fit in here. Let's see if I can move this guy and then I'll expand back. All right. So we have the r squared, the minus 6r. We have the r, which is our one factor. And what we want to know is we want to figure out what this factor is. So that would be the r and the minus 6. So let's go back in here and let's say that r squared minus 6r divided by r is r minus 6. Same idea, just without the oops. Now let's try, I'm going to leave C and D for you to work on. Let's try E. Now we still have a product and we're dividing by one of the factors. So let's see. The product is going to be t squared minus 3t. So it might be here, 3t, something like that. Now, the factor is going to be t and minus 3. Okay, so our rectangle needs to be between the t and the minus 3. So let's see. Okay, that means that we need to slide this t squared into here. And the negative 3t, well, if they line up here, then we're not going to have anything. If they line up in this quadrant, we're not going to have anything on the bottom. So we could take them and put them in here and line them up. So we have 3t. And that would be really nice to have them line up in that way, because then if you look at what's going to happen to our horizontal factor, all we would need is the horizontal factor of t. So horizontal factor is going to be t here. So t squared minus 3t divided by t minus 3 is t. And you can check. Multiply the two factors, t times t minus 3, and you do get t squared minus 3t. And let's try with this one. So we have a product, and then we have one of the factors. So the factor is a plus 2, and the product is ab minus 3a plus 2b minus 6. So let's draw the factor first. A plus 2. So it has to all fit into here somewhere. Not here, not here. So AB, and this is A. So AB could fit nicely, positive AB, in like this. Minus 3A. Well, it has to be on this side. So we can put them here, minus 3A. 2B, well, if this is AB and that's A, then this would have to be B. So 2B would fit nicely in here. 2B. And minus 6, well, there's a nice gap in here. And it turns out that if everything lines up, it'll be minus 6. So to finish up our horizontal factor, we would see that that is b minus 3. b minus 3. So a very interesting way to look at factoring, dividing, right? Using the idea that it is just finding the missing factor. So the division then is missing factor. Factoring is both factors are missing. You can have multiple solutions, and division is just one factor is given and the other one is missing. And that's what you're asked to find.